bring in, as promised, Academy Award-winning documentary filmmaker Michael Moore. Michael, good evening.
Good evening, Keith.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is Rachel Maddow. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Keith.
There's been a spike in the desire to own guns in Connecticut. Statewide, over 90,000 guns have been authorized for sale. You know how I feel about it.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Attention, everyone. This is an emergency broadcast. The unpleasant noise you are about to hear coming from your radio is not a mistake. Please do not turn off your radio, but turn up the volume on your receiver as high as it can go, so that you can make the sound we broadcast as loud as possible.
I just had to play that again. This is Jeff Norton of the Midnight Patriot. No, you have not been put back in 50 years of Godzilla. Astro Monster. I don't know if you guys remember that. But you're listening to the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. Join us on the web at www.patriotfb.com. That is patriotfb.com. So I'm going to take a quick break. We have some technical difficulties. So I'm going to play a little bit of music here. I'll take a very, very quick break. And then when we get back from that break, you know what? We'll just let it ride. For those that are joining us for the first time tonight, you're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show podcast. It is here every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. Sometimes 11. It depends how we feel. It is Friday night, so it's probably going to be 11. Usually when we have a guest, we'll push it to 12. But without a guest, we will, cut out of here. It's Friday night, It's time to get ready for the weekend and everything. We've got a little bit of news to cover, give you guys some updates on what's going on. We are moving all of the development servers into the studio this weekend, into the production server, so that's going to be cool. So we're going to have a little bit better quality, I would say, and everything. So I'll bring you up to speed on what we're doing there. We got some great news. We're going to be adding some more podcasts this weekend to this weekend's lineup. We're also going to be working on a schedule. I know that's something that you guys have been asking for quite a while, a schedule of shows, music, all of that. So we'll get all that worked out over the weekend. Monday, we'll hit it pretty hard, start all over and everything. But if you'd like to give me a chat, because I know a lot of you guys don't like calling in, you're afraid. It's okay, I understand, I get it. Not everybody can do this. If everybody could do it, we would all be doing it. But if you'd like to join me in the chat, go to patriotfb.com. patriotfb.com and go to the chat window there. And love to hear from you. When we get back, we're going to be talking. There's a lot of just a lot of crud in the news. I guess I was going to say something else, but I had to stop myself. A lot of crud in the news. We're going to talk about the economic numbers. Not surprising at all. Obviously we're going to be talking about a little bit about the NSA, some of their shenanigans that they're up to these days, and just overall, just kind of wrap up the week, go into the weekend, see how things progress. If you'd like to join in the conversation, give us a call, 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. If you've never called in, or if you want to call in, tonight is the night to do it. It is Friday. It's kind of a free-form Friday. Oh my gosh, my DJ's coming out. Starts playing music for a week at patriotfbradio.com, and I start becoming a DJ. It starts coming out. But when we get back from the break, we'll take your calls. Give us a call, 1-800-580-4870. Join us on the web at www.patriotfb.com. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. Jeff Norton. No, I have not been taken over by aliens, Joe. Hola. Hola, mi amigo. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong alien. Oh, no, he's in trouble now. He done did it. He done did been politically incorrect. It's going to become comedy hour here if we keep this up. Don't get me going. No. I don't know what it is. I think it's, it's been raining here all day. Humidity's up. Everything. Who knows? I might be coming down with a cold. I think I got black lung. That's a great movie. I don't know if you guys ever watched that. Can't remember any of the actors. Yeah, he's in the coal mine. It's not Will Ferrell, but whatever. We'll just march right on and everything. Wow, what a day! It's just like now look, I got to explain something to you guys. And a lot of crazy things happen. When I started doing this show, I've had police officers show up at my doorstep looking for gang members in my house. Because I'm a haven. I'm just I'm a bastion of lawlessness here at the Norton household. So I've had that. I've had the death threats, of course. Bring it on, whatever. I got a couple new guns I want to try out, anyways. Haven't had time to get to the range, so bring it on. Had some threats, Muslims for making fun of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, or whatever they say, shalom alaikum, blah blah blah. So I'm going to get some for that too. Like I said, I have some new guns I haven't tried out yet. Come on, bring it on. But no, it's been crazy. I mean, we've had some ups and downs, been hacked, all that stuff. But today, it was a self-inflicted wound. So, for the most part, I'm pretty computer savvy. So I'm working on a project. Yeah, I've got some outside things that I do, consulting and stuff that kind of pay for the bills around here. And I was sitting there, and I got this pop-up. I'm running Windows 8 on a Dell. Michael Dell, you now owe me $25 for plugging your product. So our studio, we have Dell computers. We like them, touch screens and stuff. I mean, we like the all-in-ones. So I get this notice. I'm running 8.1, right? And 8.1 is kind of like a step up from Windows 8, obviously. 8 dot, hence the .1. So I'm sitting here, and I noticed that my .1 is an evaluation copy because it's like a pre-release. I got it because I'm a member of what they call TechNet with Microsoft. Been, for 20-something years. So I get pre-releases of software and all that stuff. DevConnect, well, that's Avaya, DevConnect, but TechNet. So it tells me, oh, we got the official version of 8.1's out, and you need to upgrade. So I'm like, okay. And it said clearly, now I'll tell you, this is a self-inflicted wound. It clearly said, you need to, after installing this version, you'll need to reinstall your software. Some software, not all your software, some software. So I'm going, oh, okay, that's typical. Sometimes things are incompatible with drivers, blah, 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 the way they're compiled. So I hit the button. 30 minutes later, I just got done doing a bunch of flow charts for a customer, laying out their process. So I did all these flow charts. We're talking, about a day and a half worth of work. And I just completed them in the morning. I said, okay, fine. So I'm going to upgrade, take a break. I need to let my eyes, and it's going to take about an hour to apply the patches and stuff. So I take a break, go drink some coffee that I made that I didn't have any time to get to this morning. So I go do it, and I come back. Yeah, sure enough, about an hour later, it's done. And so then my computer boots up, and of course it's saying hi, bueno, hola, all the different things that like a fresh new computer should be doing. And I'm looking at it, and I'm going, whoa, this isn't an upgrade. This is a fresh install. So I open up everything's gone. Everything. I'm talking MP3 files for the radio station that we burned CDs. All that stuff gone. Now, I know what you guys are saying, Jeff, you're a technology guy. You should have had backups, right? Well, Apple comes and saves the day. I do have My computer choice is Apple Mac. I've had Apple Macs ever since I was in, ever since I could afford them, which wasn't too long ago. But no, I've had Apples for about 15 years now, in one way or the other. And Apple has a great product. It's called the Time Machine, and I have it set up so all my Windows machines are hooked into it as well. And so luckily, but I had to reinstall all the software. It doesn't, I don't back up the applications themselves. I just back up the data files. So I had to go and put everything back on the computer, then go and restore the data files and everything. So that's why we were down. The radio station was down, because that machine is our beta test machine. We're kind of testing the music and all that. So it's all running up on that machine. Now we're going to move that to the studio. We're actually going to move the whole application on another computer into the studio that's dedicated. But, it's actually at my home office, and that's what we're streaming from right now. So during the day, I can write code and get things done for it. And then once I'm happy with it, we'll move it over. But so that's why we were down today. It just happened, though, we were down during AVN, so the show was going on and everything. And so I do apologize for that. But we got everything restored. We're back up and running full bore and everything. So I just, just a crazy day. So that was not an attack. We weren't hacked. Don't tell anybody, the Patriot FB was hacked or had problems or went down. No, it was IO, what we commonly call in the industry an IOware, ignorant operator. But hey, it happens. It happens to some of the best of us. So tonight when I got into the studio, I have the same computer here at the studio as well. Well, guess what it was asking me to do? So guess what I didn't do? So we're live, we're running and everything. But what a day. What just a great day. I happened to listen to JJ show. JJ McCarty, he's here from 2 until 4. I listened to yesterday's show, and I am appalled. And I know there's knuckleheads out there. The world's full of them, right? We talk about them every day. We talk about them every day on the show. But it's just incredible, the ignorance. And that, that's what you're dealing with. If you want to see, obviously we know, we all know what we're dealing with here when you're dealing with libtards and, and they know, especially the media or the youth of popular mainstream media, they're mental midgets. Let's call it what it is. They're mental midgets. And, they're all high-fiving each other and doing all that great stuff. And, but once again, that, instead of, and I think JJ handled it you guys ought to listen to the show. It was a good show, regardless. That's how a professional does it. I don't know, because I'm not a professional. That's why I don't claim to be a professional, because I probably would have handled it a different way. I probably would have gave their phone numbers out over the air. I would have. Hey, kids, there's this thing called caller ID. And even though you *60, you block it, we can still get it. We can still get your caller ID. It's amazing. All we have to do is file a complaint, play the tape, and then file the complaint, and we will get your phone number. And it happens. But it's just amazing. I have a dump button here. I don't use it. I don't care. If you want to come up here and prove my point, go ahead. Call in. If you're a libtard and you want to prove everything I say is correct and everything we believe about you guys is correct, call in. It's 1-800-580-4870. Give me a call. Love to have you on the air. All you do is help us out. All you do is help me fight, prove my point, that you're just a freaking idiot. And everything. So it's just amazing. It's just amazing, the people out there. So listen to that show, and then I listened to a show today. What a great show. Just incredible content. And to think that he is doing that show under the circumstances he's doing, it's just, I'm at awe. I'm at all. And, even though I think I'm coming down with a little cold, it's nothing compared to that. I need to buck up and get on with it. But if you'd like to join the conversation, like I said, give us a call, 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. Or, of course, you can join us at patriotfb.com on the chat. I will try to watch the chat. I will try to watch the chat as I communicate with you. To Sandy's point, she tells me all the time I can't do two things at once. And you know what? I'm finding out she's correct. So we'll I'll try to monitor that, what's going on there. But like I said, if you'd like to join in the conversation, give us a call. That's the best way to talk to me. It's 1-800-580-4870. Don't be afraid. Don't be bashful. It's just a conversation. That's all we're having. Just to sit down, just to talk. It's not like we're going to whack you. Don't worry. We don't have the plastic down or anything like that. The old rug. That's not it. But, with that being said, let's get on to the news. I was watching the news today. And of course, the job numbers came out. No surprise here. 92 million Americans not in the labor force. 90, let me say that again. 92 million Americans are not in the labor force. So it's being reported on Drudge. Now, last time I checked, and this is the thing that kills, and that's why we don't use the numbers that our government gives us. And the reason why we don't use it, because it just doesn't make sense. And we know it's cooked. We know the numbers are cooked. That's why we go out to, the numbers I use is shadow government statistics. If you go out to shadowstats.com, that's the true number. And, we've been saying that unemployment around here has been hovering close to 30%. And if you look at just on the, you just add it up, there's 313 million Americans. Now, that includes people that can't work. People under the age of 16. Well, 16, I was working. I worked first job was actually in an art gallery, doing a database, believe it or not, on an old, can't remember, is a IBM desktop thing, looked like something that come out of Buck Rogers. Remember Buck Rogers when they had the new technology, and everybody when you were a kid and you watched it, and you were like, oh my God, that's incredible. And now you look at it and you go, dang, that's pretty, I wouldn't want that. That's junk. I wouldn't want that in my house. But back then, working out, it was an old PET. That's what it was, an old PET machine. PET was the first computer I worked on a database. But, 319 million or 313 million Americans. 95, that's right. Let me say this again, one more time. 95 million of them are not in the labor force. That's close to 30%. That jives with the numbers. That jives with what we see. I mean, just go down your neighborhood. Just go with your friends. And we've said this all along. Don't listen to the government numbers because they're cooked. They're all cooked. Go down your street, go down your neighborhood, go to your 10 best friends and see how many of them are actually working. And if they're working, how many of them are working in the field in which they trained, underemployment, and how many are working at a salary level that was equal to the cost of living increases that accounted for that. You're going to find it's nowhere near. It's nowhere near. It's incredible. It's utterly incredible. I mean, and it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. You know, I'm happy though. I'm not happy that the unemployment numbers are down. I am happy about this record number of women not in labor force. Now, I am happy about it. And then before you start stoning me and start, oh yeah, keep them home. That's not what I'm saying. See, the government makes its money. We make the money. The government steals its money from us working. If you added up the amount of money that your wife, or let's say your spouse, not your wife, but your spouse, if you take the person that makes the most money in the house and take the person that makes the least, and you add up what it costs for that person that makes the least amount to go into work after they pay taxes, opportunity costs, in other words, quality of life, especially if you have children, if you take all of that and you add it up, you're probably going to find out that you're actually losing money by having that spouse go to work. 2020 did a show on this years ago, about 10 years ago. And they talked about that. And I'm a firm believer of it. The quality of life. Think about it. Both parents, especially when you got kids, both parents are working, your quality of life, opportunity costs, as we call. Things that you can't put value on, but they have value. Things that you lose, and once they're gone, they're always gone. That's time. So I am looking at the number, the fact that women, and they're saying women, are more and more women are less inclined to be in the workforce. So, but when we get back, we'll take your calls at 1-800-580-4870. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host. Join us every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Time and on the web at www.patriotfb.com.
They say that the stock market's gonna crash. They say that every single one of us is gonna let down while they walk across our back. But I'ma stand up. I'm gonna put my fists in the air. No, I don't wanna have to bring my guns, but I'll be ready if it goes there. But you can let down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Get what they say if you wanna. Turn your back on the country and you right now, but I don't wanna. So let's stand up, put our fists in the air. No, we don't wanna have to bring our guns, but we'll be ready if it goes there. 'Cause we're the epitome of what's left of the USA. We're hard working, honest, and we make our money the good old-fashioned way. But you can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Forget what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country and you right now, but I don't wanna. No, I don't wanna. Well, say that the cause is fine. With a little hard work and prayer, we can get her back on her feet. 'Cause I believe she belongs there. So let's stand her up and brush off the dirt and dust. A Lady Liberty needs our help from every single one of us. But you can lay down if you wanna.
out of control spending, a government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com.
America, welcome home the brave. The brave men and women who serve their country are coming home. Home to their cities and towns. Home to their mountains and valleys. Home to their families and friends. Home to America. Some of these warriors are coming home with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Wounded Warrior Project was created to provide the support these wounded veterans need to ensure their return to America is well-adjusted and successful. But we need your help to ensure that our mission is a success. Help us honor and empower these wounded warriors. Contact us at findwwp.org. America, welcome home the brave.
You're listening to the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join me live every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, or till I figure I'm going to get the heck out of here. That's right. It's good being the king. I'm sure Obama wakes up every morning saying that. Or he goes, what the heck did I get myself into? No, I think he's narcissistic enough that he probably goes, it's great being a king. And he thinks about who else he could screw with. So it's just amazing. So, we talk about the labor force. It's not as rosy as you think. And of course the markets. That just tells you how hyperinflated the markets are. How much of a bubble there is. We've reported on here, and we've had numerous experts, financial experts, on the show. People call in. That are all saying that there is a shadow economy going on in the United States, not, an underground economy. The Federal Reserve is pumping all of it with all this quantitative easing. It's, easing would be, we're easing you off of the drug, right? The addiction. We're easing. No. Au contraire. They're pumping more in you. That's what quantitative easing is. They're not easing up the money supply. They're pumping more money into the money supply. Now, got a great lesson in the last year and a half talking with Ellen Brown and reading her books and reading, educating myself, waking up. And we're finding out there's this huge shadow economy. And there are actual banking organizations that weren't banks before all of this pumping started. They didn't exist, but poof, they all automatically show up, and of course they get the money from the Fed. And that's what's pumping up the stock market. You and I aren't getting it. Try to go get a loan. Go down to your local bank and ask for a loan right now. Ask for a business loan. Go ask for a business loan. You're not going to get it. You might be able to get a house loan because it's a secured kind of loan, but you're not going to get an unsecured loan. You're not going to get a loan to buy machinery. It ain't going to happen. All this money that's going in there is not going into the banking or into the private, into the public money supply. It's going into these shadow underground investment houses that are then in turn taking that money. This is the biggest screw job. And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to put it very simple for you guys so you can understand. It's one thing that I think I do very well is break it down in common terms that you and I understand. Because I sit around and think about this all day. This is what I think about. So these banks, these entities, whatever they are, they get money from the federal government. Every time you pump money into the economy, the value of that, just like, if you could go out today, take a diamond. Here you go. Take a diamond. Diamonds are worth a lot of money because they're rare, correct? An honest politician's worth a lot of money too because they're rare. Boom, boom, boom. But no, so diamonds are rare. But if you could go down to your local beach and the sand was diamonds, diamonds wouldn't be worth anything. I used to watch the meteorite guys that hunt up the meteorite, and they would tell me, a little rock was worth like $10,000. You're like, whoa, because it's rare. It's very rare. So what they do with our money is the more money they pump into the system, the less value that money has, right? So you have, but people still want the products and services. So what happens is prices go up. Go to your grocery store. You'll see the increase. You will. You'll see the increase. The reason why oil is at the price that it's at today, you can thank the Federal Reserve. Because the Saudis, a loaf of bread, the price has gone up. So they still want their loaf of bread, and I use that. They want their Maseratis and all that stuff. But the prices have gone up. That's why oil, even though they're pumping out more oil than they've ever pumped out, that's why it's still in the triple digits price, crude. And it's going to stay there. Your Federal Reserve, by pumping all this money in, they devalued the dollar. So a dollar buys less today than it did a year ago. So, but they still want the same amount of product, so they're gonna increase their prices. That's how that works. But take that back to the shadow bank. We're getting screwed. We're on both sides because the things that we own have less value. Land has less value today. But they're pumping all the money in, and people are losing their jobs. You got 91 to 95 million people without income, So you're seeing land at a cheap price. Well, guess who's buying it up? Guess who's buying up the tangible? They're taking intangible, which is money, because money is intangible. They make it out of thin air. It's all done in the computer somewhere. So they take the intangible and they buy tangible with it. That's why I've said that this administration, this president, has done more to destroy the people that he's come in and said he is going to help. I'm here to help you. Hope and change. Remember all those words? But no, what he's done is that, the backs, we're being pinched every which way. Every which way. Healthcare now. If you got it. I think you got it. Price of gas, food, everything. But then the Federal Reserve is pumping money into these private banks, these shadow banks. They're then in turn investing it in the market. They're then they're pushing the market up. They're then, they're sophisticated. They have software. That's, let me tell you, one of the coolest jobs you can ever do coming out of college is mathematician. You want to be like the Wolf of Wall Street? We're going to talk about that movie here in a second. But if you want to be like that, and you want to reinvent yourself, go back and become a mathematician. They will suck you up in a heartbeat. And you will make a ton of money, a buttload of money. I'm talking more money in a day than most people make in a year. I have friends that work at the CBOE and the calculations and the computer softwares and all the things that they use. I've worked on them. I've seen them. And I know what these guys drive. I'll tell you who I've met. Pete and John Nigerian. Kramer. Little company called Option Monster here in Chicago. Know the guys very well. Know them all. You know, was there when they launched the company. These guys are, you know, they're stars in the financial community, but they were smart enough to invest in these algorithms, these software packages and stuff to manipulate. They get in and they get out. You can make money in the market even when the market's down. They do it all the time. So they move this money around. So what they do is when they take the money out of the market after they laundered it, they then buy tangible products and services with it. And that's what you're seeing in Florida. That's what you're seeing all along in the resort areas. You know, they are flourishing as we are struggling. You know, the 1% in this country, you remember, you know, President Obama, the 99%ers, you know, the 1% has flourished under this administration. And they're going to continue to flourish. This president's not stupid. He tells us one thing, but his banking buddy. I mean, think about who sits on, you know, these are all ex-Goldman Sachs members. PricewaterhouseCoopers. These are all, you know, these are the elite of the financial communities. All sit and are advisors to the President of the United States. You know, he knows where it's at. He knows exactly where it's at. And that's what's going on. They are systematically destroying this company financially. And regardless, and I'm a firm believer, Stone Anthony can be elected tomorrow. And we can get 100 Stone Anthonys in there. We are broke as a country. But they keep propping it up. And that's what the scary thing, that's what you got to, you know, that's what you have to look at in the market. When you have this type of news come out and the market doesn't blow up, think about it. You had almost a third of the American population out of the workforce. That's huge. The Great Depression was numbers about 20%. 20%. You got 30%. And the Great Depression, you don't have the back-straddling debt that we have in this country. But yet it still keeps chugging along. And the reason why it's chugging along is because of the manipulation of the markets. But that can only go on for so long. There's elasticity in the market. It's a concept they teach you in risk, when you take risk classes. And what happens is, you know, that elasticity, it will stretch, right? But there's a point in which it's going to return, it's going to correct. And when it does, what's going to happen is all of these people that have bought tangible products, tangible items, they're going to be fine. But you that have your investment in your house is based in intangible, 401ks, retirement accounts, all those things, they're going to be gone. They're going to be wiped out. They're going to have no value. And I'm not telling you, you know, look, I'm not a financial planner. I can just tell you what I see. And I'm going to tell you this. Think about it. You have money in the bank right now. Why is that money there? Ask yourself that question. It's there because you probably need it to pay a bill or two, right? You're going to use it for food. You're going to use it for some shelter, maybe, pay your electric bill, all that stuff. Well, instead of it sitting there, why don't you take the money out and buy something tangible with it while it still has value? Give our friends at Mountain View Off-Grid Living, give them a call and buy some foods. Get some storable food. You don't want to buy the crap that's in, you know, because even at Costco or Sam's or wherever you buy your food, because it has a very small shelf life. Buy something that's going to last for a while, 25 years. You know, do that. Spend your money doing that. You know, one of the things, it's self-evident. You need, you know, you're up here, you need heat. So buy yourself a wood-burning stove or a corn-burning stove, or go out to Mountain View Off-Grid Living. If you can afford it, they have a stove. It's phenomenal. I did some research on it. This stove was actually a stove that the guy that originally designed it had it on boats. Now, I can tell you, one of the biggest concerns about a boat, I had a sailboat. I had a couple sailboats. I love sailboating. Used to. One of the biggest concerns that we have is fire on a boat. Fire is one of those things that you get it on a boat, there's nowhere for you to go, and there's not a fireman. Even though you got plenty of water around you to put it out after your boat sinks. And the design of these stoves came about from the maritime. So it's very safe. And they put out a buttload of heat. So you need food, right? You need heat. You need power. You need electricity. So buy your solar panels. You can buy a solar panel system for about $5,000 based upon, if you listen to Prepper Recon on our show, he built one for about $600. You can expand that for about $5,000. You can heat your, all your power needs for your house. Then on top of that, you gotta have a house. If you can afford it, buy some property. Buy a bug out location. Look at these things called land contracts. Get involved. You might not have, you're not going to get money from a bank. And also, if you get money from a bank, then it's restrictive on what you can and can't do on it and stuff. I'm telling you, go look at these. Go look at properties. Go look for land contracts. They're out there. Buy your property on a land contract. Pay a couple $100 a month. Do that. Don't put your money in the bank. I know everybody says you got your 401k, your savings, all that stuff. Keep it there. But don't contribute any more to it. It's not going to be there. And I'm not offering financial advice. You do what you want to do. You're grown men and women, but just the writing's on the wall. The writing's on the wall. Typically, if you want to be successful financially, find out what the successful financial people are doing and then do the same thing. I remember guys at the CBOE here in Chicago, they would lease a seat, several thousand, $10,000 to $30,000 a month. That's right, to lease a seat at the pit or in the exchange, depending upon the exchange. I didn't stutter. $10,000 to $30,000 a month. So that tells you they're making some bones to be able. Well, some of them don't, and they're gone. But the reason why they do that. And I talk to a lot of them, and I know them personally. They front trade, and what front trading is that they sit around, they see what the huge investment houses do with the huge computer systems and the guys from MIT that are mathematically geniuses and all this stuff, and they see what they're doing. By having a seat there at the exchange and by developing that relationship with other traders, you can front trade. And what that basically means is if you know that JP Morgan or whoever is going to buy 100,000 shares of XYZ and you know about it before a few seconds before it happens, you can buy your 5,000 shares of XYZ. JP Morgan buys their 100,000 shares. Your 5 shares just went up 10, 20 cents. You sell yours, you make your money. That's how it works. That's how it works in the real world with the big boys. That's why a lot of your exchanges now are going all electronic. They're trying to eliminate that. They're trying to build what they call efficiency into the market. And efficiency is it eliminates that. But you also have geniuses that have algorithms that do the same thing, just computer. They're able to get their trade in 5 seconds. That's called arbitrage. They're able to close on a money account seconds before it shuts down, and turn it back and do the conversions. This all happens electronically at the speed of light. There's companies that make millions and millions and millions of dollars just doing that. Arbitraging. Buying a commodity, market closes, and as one market's closing, the other one opens up. They trade it on the currency exchange, and then they make a penny. A fraction of a penny. 1/12 of a penny. But when they're buying 50 million widgets, it adds up. That's how they do it. So I'm just telling you, just do. If you want to be financially, just watch what they're doing, and I'll tell you what the rich people are doing. They're disinvesting in liquidity, and they're buying hard assets. That's exactly what they're doing. They're buying hard assets, and thus you should too. And that's actually a good segue. There's a movie that just hit the, what we'll do is we're going to take a break. Break's coming up because I want to have an opportunity to talk about this. But I got to start segments, here, instead of just making this stuff up as I go. And I'm not saying make it up. I'm talking about segments in the sense of call the pot calling the kettle black. We're going to talk about that when we get back from the break. There's a movie that's out there called The Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know if you guys saw that or you saw the previews of it. And, I don't want to give a spoiler alert. I don't. But when we get back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit about that because I see some huge disparity. I just see the pot calling the kettle black on this one. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Target. I'm going to tell you guys how you can avoid that ever happening to you when we talk about Target and credit card scams. It's a free-form Friday. If you'd like to join in the conversation, give us a call, 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. But you're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. Join us live every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, or on the web at www.patriotfb.com. That is www.patriotfb.com. Out of control spending. A government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com.
We need a hero, someone to save us from ourselves and our own self-destruction. God only knows we need help. Looking for a hero, someone who cares about the future, not about themselves, but about the idea of America. We need a hero, someone to show us the way. We need a hero who speaks for the people and what we have to say. We still believe this land of the free is still America. We still believe in the land of the
You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, and on the web at www.patriotfb, for freedom, brother. I think Joe has another term for it, .com. But, right before we, went off to the break, we talked about the bubble, the economic and stuff. And it's so appropriate. I would call this the pot calling the kettle black. There's a new movie out. It's called The Wolf of Wall Street. And it basically talks about the Jordan Belfort wrote this book. Now this guy has a dubious past. I mean, this was out. He's milked about $100 million, even actually more than that. He did pay. Been prosecuted by the federal government and everything. Well, he writes a book and he does a movie, and Scorsese actually picks it up, and I can't remember the actors, but there's several. Leonardo DiCaprio plays them and everything, and there's a lot of criticism going on about this, and the government is criticizing this man that he milked out $100 million from these investors. Now, this is what chaps my ass, as Peter Griffith would say at Family Guy, So these people, let me kind of explain something to you. There's what they call safe harbor law in investing. In other words, it's called part of the widows and orphans law. So basically what it is these are laws that are established on who can invest in these hedge funds and these money markets, all this stuff, and who can't. And it's all about protecting the naive consumer. Now, a lot of the people that he milked or that he stole this money from are not naive. They're the rich. But of course, you can't take money from the rich. You can't take money from a lot of them are media moguls, actors. Can't do that, Oh, woe is me. Can't take their money. And so now but these are people that willingly gave this man the money. Now, that old adage, and I'm just going to tell you, it doesn't matter what if it's too good to be true, it usually is. It is. You got to work hard. I'm not disillusioned about what it's going to take to build PatriotFB.com. I'm not disillusioned about it. I'm very excited about the numbers, but I'm not disillusioned. I know we got a long way ahead of us to build this media outlet. I know we do. We're going to have bumps. We went from having 1,000 downloads a day, a couple thousand downloads, almost a couple thousand, to just under a couple hundred now, because we changed platforms, but we moved for the better. We're getting more established, and then we'll kick it up again. Don't worry. There's a plan. There's a method to this madness. We're getting stability. We're like a good shipbuilder. We're building a solid keel around us. And then from there, we're going to build our ship. And, we might sail off to vast fortunes, or we might sink miserably in the harbor. I don't know. But that's what entrepreneurs do. My heroes in business are not Trumps and those guys. My heroes are Walt Disney, 9 bankruptcies, failed 9 times before he built what he did. I mean, success at I took college. Really didn't learn a whole lot about college. A lot of people say you learn how to tap a keg. I knew how to tap a keg before going into college. I really didn't learn. But one of the things I got to tell you, one of the things that I did learn while I was in college was in a speech class. Now, you're talking to a guy who would walk in the day of and do a speech. Didn't have to prepare for obvious reasons. That's why I think I do what I do here. Never had a problem with it. But, I listened one day to another fellow student's speech. And I was just at awe at what she said. She was an athlete, volleyball player. Also played collegiate softball. And she talked about failure. And the thing that I got from that is what she wrapped her whole speech up with. You know, before that, most college classes are wah, 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 wah. But what she said actually hit home, and it stuck with me. Failure is not falling down. It's staying down. We all make mistakes in business or whatever. I mean, I made them. Ask me. I'll tell you what they are. I'm not, because I hope you can learn from them. I have. You know, I've had to make the same mistake a couple times, which I guess would be the definition of insanity. But it happens. It happens. You got to learn from them, though. And then you got to make sure that you don't hurt other people. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing, because of your lack of whatever. So, you know, I live by that. And the thing is that, you know, that's his life. That's his life. But going back to the Wolf of Wall Street, you know, these people that invested in him were not naive. They weren't. They were trying to make a quick buck. And they lost. For the most part, a lot of times the way these schemes, even the Murdoch schemes, a lot of them made a lot of money at the very beginning, and then they got sucked in and they got greedy. One of the best lessons you ever learn about the stock market, anybody can get in and get out of a stock and make money. The trick is when to get in and when to get out. And the problem is you can't get greedy. You know, when I talked with Pete and John Najarian and all those guys, and you listen to them, they would have strategies, and the way that they would make money and consistently make money is they had a plan, and they didn't deviate. They didn't believe their own BS. They had a plan that when a stock did a certain thing or a commodity did an option did a certain thing, they took so much money off the table. They consistently did that. And now they're on CNBC. They have Option Monster. They're making money. They're, you know, Kramer's with them. I mean, they got some of the top guys in the financial industry. That's how you do it. You don't believe your own BS. But the problem is you don't get greedy. You know, bears and bulls make money. Pigs get slaughtered in the stock market. And that's what happened with these people. Now, you know, of course, you Jeff, why are you bringing this up? The reason why I'm bringing this up is that the government is all up in arms because he milked knowledgeable, willing participants out of $100 million. $100 million. Willing participants, knowledgeable participants. In other words, they participated. They wrote the check. They gave it to them. And because of their greed, they continued to give it to them. Now, what does that have to do with the government? It has exactly this right here. Last time I checked, I did not agree to give the government my money so that they can gamble on health care and all of the other things that they gamble on. So when the government's going to sit out there, you know, they paid over $600 million to a company that did not produce one viable product. They had to have other companies come in and fix it. Why isn't the government standing up on national and in the blogs and stuff criticizing those companies? Why aren't they up there demanding that they get the restitution and get their money back? Why isn't Seabrus, HHS director, demanding that we get our money back or people are going to go to jail? Pot calling the kettle black. So the significance of this movie, I don't know if it has entertainment value or anything. The significance for me is it just goes to show you the massive gap between reality and responsibility in this country as it comes from our government. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to go watch the movie. I like these types of movies, though. I like to see the tragedy. Oh, I'm sorry. I just know friends that lived like that. I know friends that $30,000 a day was nothing. You know, I know friends who $100,000 for a person to be a member of a private island club in Florida is nothing. So I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. But if you'd like to join in the conversation, give us a call at 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. I'd love to hear from you. Love for you guys to join the conversation. I also like to I see that Paul is actually. I'd like to get Paul. Paul, if you're on the site, I see that you're at Patriot FB. I saw that you posted a couple. I'd like for you to give us a call at 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. I'd like to talk with you. Don't worry, man. I like your posts. I like what you're putting out there. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. So I'd like to, Paul, if you're listening, like to give us a call. Call in at 1-800-580-4870. Joe, if you'd like to give us a call at 1-800-580-4870. Love to hear from you. Can't think of a better way to wrap up the weekend or to get into the weekend than to talk with you guys. But what a day. What a day. It's going to be a cool weekend. We're going to be moving our servers over, getting those set up. We are going to be upgrading the software here in the studio, getting it. That was one of the things, too. You know, Joe just telling me that we're a little low. That's the nice thing with this new software that we've got. It's professional software. It's not this amateur hour podcast stuff that we've been using. But it will set levels automatically, which is going to be cool. You know, it's going to be really neat to. So no matter what I set on here at the dial, I set it on the board, and it makes sure that it will boost my voice, so I can get out there and everything. But like I said, if you'd like to join in the conversation, give us a call at 1-800-580-4870. I'd love to talk with you. You know, some of the other things, we're going to be rolling out in the news here, cover some of the things. We're going to talk about, after we take the call here, we got a caller. So after we take the call, I want to get back to you, and I want to talk to you about Target. 110 million individuals now is what they're saying. Credit cards, gone, stolen. They're in Russia. You're going to be buying soup in Russia delis for years now. So I want to let you guys know that. But, I'm going to talk to you about how you can avoid that. I mean, there's some things that you can do right now. You can do it tomorrow if you wanted to, and you can avoid having your credit, your bank accounts zapped and taken away from you and stuff. But for right now, we got a caller. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Joe. How you doing, Jeff?
Joe. How are you doing, buddy?
Oh, not too bad. I heard you talking about the credit card thing. Most companies take PayPal now. You can just use PayPal. That's about the easiest way I know.
Well, in a store. Well, actually, since you brought it up, I'll go ahead and do it. So, what you do? This is what I do. You go to Walmart and you can buy the American Express like debit cards or whatever.
Oh, right.
And the reason why I do American Express is because American Express will let you put $5,000 on the card. So if you're going to go on a trip or anything like that, so what you can do is you can actually do, you can get a couple of the cards, and not put 5,000. You can put 1,000 on each card. But I like the American Express ones because they have a higher limit. But you can use any one that you wanted to. And when I'm seeing this, a lot of the American Express you're not hearing a lot about American Express getting hacked. It's mainly Visa and MasterCard. That's the other reason too. And so
they've been in this business for a while. You never hear anything about American Express.
Well, because they have a little bit different policies. They don't joke around. American Express prosecutes. A lot of these banks, a lot of these banks don't even prosecute. They just charge, because to be honest with you, it's ones and zeros anyways. So they just charge it off on their books, and then as they're doing their interbanking transfers amongst each other, they reconcile that way. But it's a huge issue. So what I recommend people do is they go down to Walmart or wherever they get an American Express. You can get whatever kind of debit card you want. You preload it, and then that's what you use to purchase. That's the one you use, and you don't use your personal for anything. Not at all. And that's a
good point.
And then you keep the balance. It takes some responsibility. Now, this is the thing. You can go, because they don't charge you for these, not at all. So you can go and say you put $1,000 on one of your cards, you preload it, or say $500. To be realistic, put $500 on one of your cards. You go and you buy you go on your trip, you buy whatever you're going to buy. You can, when you're done with that, you can take the money out of it, and then you can shred the card and you can go get a new one. And then so on that trip, so like if you travel overseas, and I've done this quite a bit when I travel overseas. When I get back out, you shred that card, because especially when you're in some pretty scary places in the world, they're taking that card information, and who knows what they're going to do with it. So you dump the card and it's gone. And you never have to worry about it.
That's a great idea, too. I never thought about that, but yeah.
And that's how you protect yourself. The only downside to that is, the only downside to that is like when you got to go get gas, you actually have to go in and swipe the card in the store. The gas machines outside won't do it. I have found that there are a couple online. I've never had this problem with American Express. I had it with the MasterCard ones, where you would go online and they wouldn't take it, especially on like cards in which you had like reoccurring charges, like hosting. My hosting company, that's how I did it for a while. Paid for our hosting, because I would put it on these I'd call them burner cards. And the thing is, if you do it, you can just, if you have a budget, if you have a system, you can, if you know that you have XYZ bills coming out the month, you just charge it back up. It's no big deal. And you can do that right online from your bank account right into the American Express. It's pretty cool. I mean, that's what I do. And
that's a good idea, because if you got, like you were saying, if you're going Christmas shopping, you got $400 to spend on gifts, you put $400 on it.
Yep.
And be done with it.
Yep. And that helps you with it. Well, I had a scenario, where I had my bank card. I went over to I went to go get gas, and I put it in, and it was declined. I was like, what the heck, and I know it wasn't. There's no reason for it to be declined. And luckily, like I said, my bank was right across the street, so I went over to Chase. I have a Chase account because I have business accounts, and I can international stuff. So I went over to Chase. I walked into the bank. And I said, what's going on with my card? And they looked at it, and they said, they swiped it, and they said, your card has fraud. They had fraud on it. So Chase actually shut it down, right away. Oh. And so, but the problem was what happens if I wasn't near a Chase? Because not Chase is everywhere. I mean, I went with Chase for that particular business account because I did a lot of overseas transfers, and they don't charge me the conversion. When you're overseas, you got to convert the dollar to whatever currency. Chase doesn't charge you a fee to do that. That's why I went with Chase. But what happens if I was on the road and that happened again? I would have been screwed, and
right.
And that's why I said no more. So I actually carry multiple forms. Plus I, Prepper Recon, I carry cash too. Cash is still good, but I have multiple forms.
Right. So, that's a good plan. I was calling in tonight to speak about Christians getting killed. I was just reading an advertisement article here about, I don't know if most people realize this, but in the year 2013, twice the number of Christians have gotten killed. There was 2,123 Christians that died that they can keep track of. Now, in North Korea, where they can't keep track of them, there's 300,000 Christians over there in that country, I guess, and I guess they're just wide open season on Christians over there.
Well, yeah.
It's like we need to just turn the other cheek, or whatever we're doing here is not working out for us because we're getting killed by the thousands.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem. Number one, mainstream media is not talking about it. Number two, we have a government who, in the face of it, will just rack it up to terrorist violence, but they don't address the fact that it's, based upon someone's religious belief. The elephant in the room is the fact that, I know North Korea is one thing, but most of these mass murders of Christians are being done by Muslim organizations. And of course,
that's exactly who's doing it.
The Muslims, the moderates are all, it's a religion of peace, and all I've got to say is bull. It's not a religion of peace. I mean, you read the Quran, they can spin it any way they want to. They have PR people just like every other organization. Hitler had his PR group, he had his media, and everything, and it's the same thing. When you have 50 Christians being locked into a church and lit on fire, when you have 200 Christians being slaughtered, when you have a priest being, beheaded in Syria, you have nuns being raped, then being beheaded and that's in conjunction with their religious beliefs. That's how you deal with non-believers of Muslim. But yet the mainstream media won't talk about it. They're not going to talk about it because, they would rather have Anderson Cooper up there talking about, well, does his urine freeze in the cold weather? That's news. That's news in America.
Yeah.
And
as I roll down this story, it's given there. It says there's an estimated 50,000 to 70,000 Christians living in concentration camps or prison-like circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's like, good Lord, just because somebody believes something a certain way.
Well, because they don't believe it another way. Let me kind of explain this to you. A lot of people and I'm just going to say this, the Muslim religion, Islam, teaches in the Quran, there are all non-believers, all non-Muslims are infidels, are infidels. You have three choices. Number one, you can pay a tax to the Muslim religion, but you're still under the rule of the Muslim religion, the Islam, and you're still subject to being their slave, basically. Number two, you can convert to Islam, or number three, you can be beheaded. That's in their religion. That's their religion. Those are your three options. So for you to come back and say, well, the Christians are in conscience, I believe that 100% because they are considered subhuman, even though you pay the tax, and they do. Most of these Christians in these Islamic countries and stuff will pay the tax, but the problem is they're still oppressed. Now, they might not have barbed wire fences and be living in the Huskow or whatever, but they're still imprisoned in that country because they don't have the freedoms and the rights that others have. It's a form of slavery. And because
you remember what Hitler did to the Jews. He had them all there in one section of Poland.
In the ghettos. Yep, in the ghettos.
And they just bombed the heck out of them, and that's what they're, what it looks like they're not ready to do to Christians, And I know a lot of people out there are not organized religion, but most people have a pretty good, decent understanding of spirituality, and it's like good Lord, if we don't all pull together and stand up for these Christians, or if you consider yourself a Christian, I don't mean to push my beliefs off on anybody like that, then when they come for us, there's nobody going to be there to stand up for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I mean, it's one of those things where, it's just how, we have been so maligned with political correctness. It's time that we start calling it out for what it is. I'm not going to sit here and listen to someone tell me that Islam is a religion of peace. I'm going to look at them and say buttocks,
Yeah, exactly.
No more, because you are not a religion of peace. You are not a religion of peace. Your Quran dictates that you have to do one of these three things to a non-believer. Your Quran has words, and they talk about, even in Christian religion and stuff, they talk about, the infidel and non-believer and stuff, but God does not instruct you to go kill them. God does not instruct you to go out and behead them. God does not, instruct you to go out and rape their wives, and he doesn't do that. We're going to have to wake up.
Islam is doing for pedophilia. All these guys are claiming religious rights over that kind of stuff now. It's like, good Lord, are you nuts?
Oppression of women. And I know a lot of the women are sitting there going, well, I choose to live this. And it's like, because you don't know any better. Because the minute that you step outside and you do it, you can't drive a car in Saudi Arabia. You can't, the minute you step outside of that, you're going to be stoned to death. And so, I don't know. It is not the religion that everybody claims.
And did you see where Saudi Arabia is not even allowing men and women, unless they're related, to talk on the internet?
Oh, I know.
I mean,
yeah.
God, it's like they want to take the whole civilization back 2,000 or 3,000 years. We might as well beat women over the head with the club and drag them off to the cave.
Well, and that's the thing.
As far as they're concerned.
And that's the thing that people don't understand. If you're, you feminist Nazis out there, I was going to say, the groups that defend the Muslim groups, the Rachel Maddows of the world, go to little Islam in Detroit, and speed your crap there and see how long you last. Because you will not, because last time I checked, she was, female is number one. Number two, she's gay, and so the thing is that she wouldn't last. It's one thing when you're sitting in a studio in New York, or you're sitting in a studio in Los Angeles and you're not there and everything. I mean, there are videos of, in Detroit, where, that's the biggest collection of Muslims. There are videos there where there are stoning people. They're stoning Christians.
Yeah.
I
think I've seen something about two of them being beheaded up there.
Well, for the mercy.
Why ain't this on the mainstream media? And they're hiding it.
Well, yeah, they're hiding it because they have a mission. And this is the thing, is that, I'm a very firm believer that anything against Christianity in this country, this government is for. And I'm going to say that there's some power elites, because the reason being is, and I go back, and I know a lot of people say, well, because Barack is a Muslim and blah, blah, blah. I don't buy into that. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I don't know. But what I do know is that he is a socialist and he is a communist. And based upon that knowledge of him, they are anti-religion and they're anti-Christianity, because, Christianity is that you don't serve a man, you serve a God. And socialism and communism, the tenets of it is that you worship a man. You worship your leader, and whatever they say to you, kind of like what's going on in North Korea, whatever they say to you is gospel. And so that's why they're against it. The good news is, I'm gonna say that, and I hope Sochi goes very well. I really do. I love the Winter Olympics. Out of all the Olympics, I love the Winter Olympics the most.
All right.
But I love the ski jumping and all that stuff. But I will tell you this: if there is an attack in Sochi, this world is going to learn how you deal with Muslims. And once again, it's not going to be coming from our leader. It is going to be coming from Vladimir Putin. Because he won't tolerate it. Oh, I'm a firm believer. I am a firm believer that he will wipe them off. He will wipe them off the face of the earth. And he will chase.
They're already throwing mosques out of Russia, different parts of Russia already.
Yeah.
And, it might not be a bad idea over here in this country. And, and the thing about you saying that they're going to try to push any religion but Christianity, if they can take away God, then they can say, hey, there's no such thing as God-given rights.
Absolutely.
Your government gave you the right.
Exactly. And
you and I both know that this Constitution and Bill of Rights was based on the Ten Commandments.
Absolutely.
It used to be taught in school, but it's not anymore.
Yep, I agree with you. Hey, Joe, I'm going to have to cut you off there. We're going to take a break, and we'll get back. Can you come back for the break or no?
Yeah, I don't care. Either way.
Hang loose.
I'm open.
Hang loose, my friend. Hang loose. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join me on the web at www.patriotfb.com or live every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. When we get back, we'll finish up the conversation with Joe. We'll do our weekly for the fallen, and we'll take your calls at 1-800-580-4870.
my country through this war, but I'll come back with pride. And I go walking through that door. I'm leaving with my head high. Serve my country through this war. But I'll come back with pride. 'Cause all my children love me. I'll come back alive. 'Cause all my children love me. I'll come back alive.
Out of control spending, a government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I am your host, Jeff Norton. You can join me here live every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, or on the web at www.patriotfb.com. That's patriotfb.com. No, we did not shut down the Midnight Patriot. We just moved it over. Better serve one space, have a lot of information. Man, we got a lot of great things going on at Patriot FB. We're going to be spinning up 3 new shows this weekend on there, so you'll be able to hear those as well. Just incredible stuff. We're going to be updating the studio so we can get you better feeds and make it a little bit more seamless. And just good times, good exciting things going on here. Sometimes we had to step back. It's always good to step back and kind of reevaluate what we're doing and try to address the issues and make it better. And I think what we're going to be doing this weekend, you guys are going to be mildly surprised, if not exuberated like I am and stuff. So, hey, Joe, we're back.
Hey, Jeff.
So,
hey, I just wanted to say, your commercial about Stone Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
I was over at his website this week, and I was having some problems because I couldn't see my nose in front of my face, I guess, and I could not find the login button on there, so I eventually wound up like a dumb butt and called the tech line. Now, I normally hate calling tech lines, but I'm speaking to the guy on the phone, and after about 2 minutes, I realized I'm actually talking to Stone Anthony.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, it just blew me away, and he's explained to me, he's going to keep this phone number of his all through his presidency, if he gets elected, of course. And it was just amazing that you could actually reach out to the guy and ask him about his beliefs and his policies. And so I'm just plugging one for Stone Anthony.
Yeah, no, Stone's the real deal, man. He's the real deal. I mean, you kind of like, no, Stone is the real deal. And he's going to affect change, if not get elected. He's going to have the run, because he's going to raise the issues, and he's going to get in your face, and he's going to, he is going to. And I'm telling you, I know that they're got a couple thousand signatures or whatever, but when we move across America this summer and this spring, or spring and summer, and so we're going to get our 1 million signatures. We're going to get the 1 million signatures. And
well, what I liked about him is we sat down and we had a conversation, and it was just like talking to my next door neighbor.
Yeah.
We were able to have a good conversation, relate to each other, just like, you would your neighbor. And it really made me feel good about the guy.
Yep, that down-to-earth guy. Just down-to-earth guy.
Yeah,
and, it's just... So
I won't keep you very much longer. I just wanted to know if I could plug my article, my weekly article.
Yeah, Freedom, where's it at? It's at freedomprepper.com, right?
Yeah, freedomprepper.com. It's called Keeping Guns Out of the Hands of Crazies. And basically what it is something was brought to my attention about, how your children are being put on these ADHD or whatever it is, drugs and what have you. Well, then when they're turning 18, they can't get their gun rights because they're already been considered a mental health issue,
Yep.
you know, had a mental health issue.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, good Lord, I never even thought about that. So
Absolutely.
go on over to freedomprepper.com, read the article, check the whole website out there. Scott runs a wonderful website.
Yep.
And see what you find.
Absolutely. You know, it's a great site. Now, this is one thing a lot of people I wanted to talk about, you know, and you actually, it was a great segue, you know, in Colorado, everybody's like, oh, we can smoke pot in Colorado. Well, one of the things is when you buy a gun, there's a form called 4473, correct? When you buy a handgun, it asks you if you're under the influence of marijuana. Clearly asks you if you're under marijuana. The thing is when you go buy pot, I don't buy pot, but I've seen it. When you go buy pot in Colorado, what is the one thing you have to produce to buy that marijuana?
ID, I guess.
Your driver's license, exactly. And guess where that driver's license goes? It goes in a database. And so when you fill out a 4473 and you check that no, you're not under the influence, or no, you've never been convicted of, under the influence or convicted of, and you say no to that, but then the federal government, you have this database, and you're in the database saying that you purchased pot, guess what? You don't get you don't get a handgun, or you don't get a gun, period.
Right,
so you know, I'm just telling people. I know everybody's like, trust me, there's some things afoot here.
Drawbacks to it.
Yes, right. No, there's some things afoot here. This government, there's a reason why this government is allowing. There's a reason why the federal government is allowing this. Trust me, they don't do anything for your best interest. I think they've shown that time and time again. It's for the government's best interest, and they're going to hang you on a technicality. Thing about a pot, if you can't get that taken off. That's gone. You're done. And so
I know.
Just think about that. So
I know from real life experiences.
Yeah.
2 weeks after I turned 18, I got busted with a joint.
Yep.
And that gave me a felony in that particular state because any amount of marijuana was a felony way back then, and it destroyed my whole entire life.
Yeah, and a lot of people just don't realize.
Over one lousy joint.
Oh, I see it every day. I mean, I see it every day. People call me all the time. How do I got in this, I got in that. I'm going through a divorce, and my wife is, she's saying that she's scared. She's scared that I'm gonna hurt her, and I'm like, well, are you? And he's like, no. And I have these conversations. Not that I don't have those conversations every day, but I have conversations to the effect of what are my gun rights? What can I do? And a lot of people do call me that because I do research the law on that. And I tell them, I flat out tell you, if you're going through a breakup and you suspect any chance that your wife is going to claim that you're a threat or get a protection order against you, the best thing you can do is remove the guns from your home right now. Because then when they go do that and you're standing in front of your judge and the judge goes, well, how are they going to do it? Well, he's going to shoot me. He's got guns. And you can say, well, I don't have guns. They've all been removed from the home. I don't want them in the house right now. And,
speaking of guns, on your Tuesday show, for us fellas that can only use black powder, can you touch base on black powder rifles and such, more information about that?
Absolutely. On Monday, actually, we are going to be talking about, I talked with Tim yesterday via chat. I didn't get to have, I'm probably going to talk to him tomorrow because I'm going to go out to the range anyways, but we are going to be talking about twists. But yes, I will bring up gunpowder or black powder. I actually have 2 flintlocks that I've never fired. They were I acquired them, and I have some questions about that as well. So yeah, that would be a very great topic. I have 3. I have a double barrel shotgun, and I have 2 flintlocks, and these flintlocks are made in Italy. And they're beautiful. I don't want to shoot them, but I got to shoot them. Because I've never shot.
Yeah, you got to do it at least one time.
Yep, exactly.
Well, with that, Jeff, I'm going to let you go, buddy.
All right,
I appreciate you letting me have a few minutes on your show.
Not a problem.
You're a great American, and just keep up the great work you're doing at PatriotFB.com. And
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great weekend. I'm sure we'll talk though. Take care of yourself. Bye, Joe. Joe Sullivan, you can actually go out. Yeah, he's writing for freedomprepper.com. So get out to freedomprepper.com. Great article. I actually read the article. Didn't know that Joe wrote that one, and everything. Freedom Prepper is a great supporter of our site. Stone Anthony, Freedom Prepper, Mountain View Off Grid Living. We got some new ad packages coming back. Hopefully they'll get here tomorrow. I don't know. They'll get here, but we'll get those out and get them as part of our normal feed for our radio show. Now, one of the things I do want to do a little senseless plug here of our Patriot Radio. We only play classic country, classic rock, and modern country. No pull your pants up crap here. All right. One of the things is that site alone costs us about $400 a month, just in hosting and all of the different services. One of the things that we also have to be very cognizant of, because we're doing it right. We're BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, licensed. We have to own the music. You can't download it over the internet. It's not. You actually physically have to own it. We can't actually download MP3s either. They actually have to be discs. So my collection, I went back to my collection and everything and got them together. And that's what you're hearing now. If you would like to support us, this is two things. If you would like to support us here in our efforts here at Patriot Radio, buy a CD. Just make sure it's old country, modern country, or classic rock. Buy a CD, drop it in the mail to us, and help us build that collection. I promise you, when you do that, we will get it on the air. If you're at a flea market or a garage sale, whatever, and you see something, get it and just drop it in the mail to us. And we'll show you how to do that on our website. I'll get a box set up specifically for that and stuff. But the other thing that you can do, you can actually donate $10. We'll take that money and we'll buy a CD from Amazon or from one of those sites. So we're in the process. We have an extensive collection. We're converting them all right now. JJ, obviously with his 30 plus years of radio experience, has a huge collection, but we're upgrading. That's how we're adding to our music and everything. So in order for us to do this, though, we're going to need more. And the best way you can do it, like I said, just keep your eyes out when you guys are out there at flea markets, wherever, pawn shop, wherever you're at, and you see a CD, it's got country rock, whatever, or classic country, whatever it is, you get it to us. And when it comes to classic country, the older the better. The older the better. That's what we're looking for. So don't, I'm talking the older the better would be outstanding. We're trying to build that collection up, and that's one way you can support us. Now another topic, that we want to talk about here and everything. This is a topic that all of us are taking up here at the Patriot FB. JJ's talking about it. Mike's talking about it on AVM. I'm sure we'll get Cowboy Logic to be talking about it and everything. And that's this issue of young men and women who are taking their lives. The suicide rate amongst our armed services are staggering. And it was actually, I saw in mainstream media that today it's starting to hit. People are starting to wake up. And I can only think that it's because of our conversations and the people that we're engaging in Stone and everybody, we're starting to wake mainstream media up. Right now in the United States, we have about 22 soldiers that commit suicide every day. That's 22 a day. That's 22 too many. We talk about this, and I'm going to continue to do this until there's none. 22 in a year would be too many. 22 in 10 years would be too many. We need to let these men and women know that we appreciate the services that they provided for us. They earned our gratitude, and they earn our respect, and they also deserve our help. And I'm telling you, you got to reach out to your law your legal officials, your politicians, your vet associations. Let them know that you're here and you're going to stand by them. It's critical. It is. I can't tell you the war. You talk about the war on Christianity, the war on middle class. Well, the war on our soldiers. These men and women have have put on this nation's uniform only to be disrespected by this administration and by this government for that matter. They're seeing benefits being cut left and right. Why individuals who, because of bad social decisions that they've made or life decisions, they can walk into a social service office and within 30 days get get housing, food, medical, all those things. Whereas soldier has to wait on average 354 days a year. 354 days in a year to get them. It's just unbelievable. It's unacceptable. It's not unbelievable. It's unacceptable. And we need to stand up and we need to say no more. We need to say no more. And if you do anything, if you want to take up any fight in this patriotic fight, that's the fight that I ask you to take up. If there's only one, if you only have one in you, that's the one I want you to take up. You got to take responsibility. You got to make our politicians take responsibility for taking care of the men and women of our armed services, and of whatever war, be it World War II, Vietnam, any of the war. If you're a vet and you're serve this country, you need to be taken care of, and that's our fight, and that's a fight that we're going to take, and that's a fight that I will get in the street and fight over. We need to start acknowledging the men and women of this great country who have put on the uniform and have served this nation. And with that, we also do a tribute. I want to kind of end the show on this for Honor the Fallen, and then we'll got a special treat for you. It's something that we haven't done in a while, so we'll do that as well. But I don't know how much time we're going to have left after we do the Honor of the Fallen. So I just want to tell everybody, if we don't have any time left, I just want to say thank you. God bless you. The reason being is at 11:01, the new server kicks in. So I got to get out the air. We can't let it run over. But I just want to say, everybody have a great weekend. Remember to spend time with your family. Reach out to your family. Do whatever you got to do. But it's all about community. It's all about being with your family. So with that, we'll start our tribute to our soldiers. Army Staff Sergeant First Class William K. Lacey, January 4th, 2014. Marine Sergeant Jacob M. Hess, January 1st, 2014. Air Force Captain David I. Loyne, December 27th, 2013. Marine Sergeant Daniel M. Valesin, December 23rd, 2013. Army Chief Warrant Officer 2nd, Randy L. Billings, December 17th, 2013. Army Sergeant Peter Bowler, December 17th, 2013. Army Sergeant First Class Omar W. Forte, December 17th, 2013. Army Specialist Terry K.D. Gordon, December 17th, 2013. Army Chief Warrant Officer 2nd, Joshua B. Silverman, December 17th, 2013. Army Staff Sergeant Jesse L. Williams, December 17th, 2013. Marine Lance Corporal Matthew R. Rodriguez, December 11th, 2013. Navy Petty Officer First Class James L. Smith, December 11th, 2013.
mother, daughter, father, oh.
If I Were the Devil by Paul Harvey. If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population. But I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple of the tree, thee. So I'd set about however necessary to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of the serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what is bad is good, and what is good is square. And to the old, I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I would get organized. I would educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting, so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I would threaten TV with dirtier movies, and vice versa. I would peddle narcotics to whom I could. I would sell alcohol to the ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I would tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed, and with the promise of higher ratings, I'd have memorizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects by neglecting to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild until before you knew it, you would have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I would have judges promoting pornography. Soon, I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and defy science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I killed all incentive of the ambitious. And what do you bet? I couldn't get those whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be, and thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. From the late, great orator, radio orator, Paul Harvey. I just want to say as we wrap up the evening, it's been a great week. I thoroughly enjoyed coming back to this microphone. You know, I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy sharing my insight with you, getting your feedback. You know, the guests are just incredible. Tim, Stone, Prepper, Mark. You know, if you have an opportunity, though, I ask that you go out to their websites. That would be stoneanthony2016.com, mountainviewoffgridliving.com. Give Sue a call. You know, we got some new ads coming up for them starting next week. But Mountain View Off-Grid Living, I'm waiting for my money to come back from the government, right? Hold my breath. So we make that purchase and get our supplies from Sue there at Mountain View Off-Grid Living. Prepper Recon, Mark. Prepper Recon's got a new book. If you haven't had an opportunity to get out to his, read his book, American Exit Strategy. Tim as well, 1776men.com. That's a excellent website. Tim, all things reloading, all things gun, resident expert on firearms. So he joins us on Mondays. Of course, Stone. The other thing, too, is get out to freedomprepper.com. Great site, a lot of great information. Just a ton of information. Joe's writing for them. Great articles. Just incredible articles. The other thing, too, is, stay tuned this week. We're going to have a new schedule up. We'll get it up there so you guys can see it. We're going to be adding 3 new podcasts over the weekend. It's going to be exciting. So we're adding more more to our network, to our family here at the patriotfb.com. I'll be doing an interview on a show over the weekend, so I'll let you guys know about that next week and where you can listen to it and everything. But like always, I just want to say thank you. Have a great weekend. Spend time with your family. I'll be thinking about you. JJ, you're in my heart. You're in my prayers. May God bless you. May God keep you, my friend. Good night.